Is this what day is this?
It's Mail It In Friday.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 4, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. Brian Hazy, O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McKenna.
What's going on?
What's going on? How we doing?
We've talked last year, me and Noodles, about the string of goaltenders the Rangers are lucky enough to have. Richter into Hank into Shesterkin. Very lucky.
Yep.
You must be feeling very, very lucky, Hazy B.
Green Bay.
You're not kidding, man.
To go from Favre into Rodgers into Love. Because that Love last night, man, just his subtle little plays where he would tuck the football and hide it and do this or do that. He looked like some veteran savvy out there, man. He looked damn good.
He's looked really good through 2 weeks. Really good. And you're right. It's got to be sickening if you're a Bears fan.
Oh, yeah. And if you've got other great runs or negative ones, like even a run in Pittsburgh, Hayes is a good one. Like to go from Mario and Jagger and Ronnie Francis to Sid and Malkin and Letang and Fleury, like that's outrageous.
Yeah, that is. That one might be better because Mario was drafted in 84, I believe. And it's 2025, and Sid's still playing.
Right.
Like, that's 41 years.
That's impressive.
Of having at least one of them. Like, Favre got to the Packers in 90, I think, 91, something like that. It's been a great run, Favre into Rodgers into Love. But, like, Lemieux passing the baton to Sid is a 41-year run, which is pretty incredible. I don't know if you can beat that. That might be interesting. Like the crossover, the passing of the baton from one player to the next.
Could be the best ever crossover. If you've got a better one, enlighten us.
I can't think of one.
Mario into Sid?
I think both of them are top 4 or 5 players of all time.
Of course.
I mean, Gretzky into McDavid, but McDavid hasn't won.
But they also didn't cross over, though, Noodles.
Oh,
like Gretzky left
That's
in 88.
True.
McDavid got there in 15.
Yeah, that's true.
You're right that they both on the same team, but they didn't play together. Lemieux and Sid were on a line together.
Sid lived at Lemieux's house when he first got there. You're right. That is probably the closest.
A baton passing.
Yeah.
Mario into Sid.
Now, I will say this. Do you remember when Jordan Love was drafted? People were like, what the hell are they doing? What are those idiots doing? They've got Aaron Rodgers there, and, they saw something. That's the thing. When people challenge management and then years later they're like, oh, maybe they were right.
Well, Rodgers was a big part of it because he was like, we needed receiver help, and they went and drafted this guy. Like, what the hell are they doing? I'm still here. And that was almost the beginning of the end, wasn't it, Hayes?
Yeah, it more or less was. Now, I will say this. It inspired him to go out and win back-to-back MVPs, which was pretty impressive.
Right.
And I think it goes both ways because you're right, Noodles. Like, I think most people look at it like they saw something in Rodgers, which was likely true. He had run into some injuries. His game was starting to fall off, although, look at him today. He's still playing. And, again, he was great. The best quarterback in the league for a couple of years post-Jordan Love. But what's more important and what takes even more courage and I think deserves even more love is they saw something in Jordan Love.
Yes.
That wasn't a first overall pick. They traded up to get him, too. That's what really led to the biggest discussion was it's one thing if the guy fell in your lap, which is what happened with Rodgers.
Well, biggest discussion when it didn't look like much and people were like, you traded up to get what?
Exactly. You gave up collateral to go get him, piss off Rodgers, and this guy looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
And they put his
UFA wizard
Right.
at work, he just gave a nice one. The San Antonio Spurs, David Robertson into Tim Duncan into Wembanyama.
Yeah, now Duncan and Wemby never crossed over, but
well,
pretty
it's
good.
kind of close enough, man.
Pretty good. And
what brings
Robinson
attention
into
to
Duncan.
what brings attention to it is for the franchises that have garbage and always get garbage and never have anything.
Yeah,
Like to look at something like that, they're like, screw the crossover. We've never had anything close to that, and you've had all three of those guys in the last 35 years.
Oh, you say it though all the time. Like there's got to be owners that go to their scouting staff or their managers going, "You guys let that go by? Like what's going on here?" Like. You're right, because it wasn't like Love was the first overall pick. There were other teams that could have grabbed them. Like throughout the process, there are teams that passed on player X, and you're like, that guy drove right by your draft table, and you didn't draft him, and now he's over here dominating. Type of thing.
Guess who went dead last? I believe he was the last pick of the first round. If he wasn't 32nd, he was 31st. And again, Baltimore traded up because they couldn't believe he was still on the board. Was Lamar? Like Lamar Jackson went the last pick of the first round. Jordan Love went 26th. Aaron Rodgers dropped to 24, I believe. You're right, Noodles. Like that's you would think if you're an owner, you're getting your scouts together saying, "Can you explain to me what the hell you were thinking taking that linebacker out of Idaho instead of this guy when we haven't had a quarterback in 40 years and I'm losing my mind here. I'm going bankrupt because we can't win any games."
Yeah.
But here's what I think is going to happen. McKenna's going to Pittsburgh. Like
you think you can just Joe from the Bridge just said it, but you're right. Like, could you imagine they go Lemieux into Crosby into McKenna?
They will. They'll win the lottery, 100%. Why wouldn't they win the lottery? Like, why wouldn't Pittsburgh get another potentially generational talent to push it for another 20 years? You know, which would be a 60-year run with a superstar on your team.
So here's pouring cold water on the Sid out the door. Maybe Sid goes, I'm going to help usher this guy in. I'm going to, bite the bullet, and we're going to be in last place this year because Kyle's going to move everything around me type of thing, and we're going to be last place, but we get McKenna, and Sid, literally what you just said, hands the baton and plays with them for 2 more years and helps shape him into a generational player.
He'd be Mario, right? It would just, what goes around comes around. Like the circle of life, Sid would just turn into Mario at the end of his career and let McKenna live with him, and they play for a couple of years. The team isn't that good, and then Sid exits, stage left, and McKenna and the Penguins take off into a dynasty. I wouldn't be surprised.
There is one more scenario on this that maybe Sid feels fulfilled if he can win a gold medal in February, right? And then you're like, okay, I got my trophy this year type of thing, and I will bite the bullet, and let's get McKenna and see. Like, I mean, maybe, again, I'm just spitballing here, but you might be onto something.
I wouldn't
Joe
be
from
surprised.
the Bridge is onto something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because, the opposite end of the turn of this conversation is what team in pro sports represents like the worst luck, like just nothing. You've never had anybody.
They were so good, but Stevie Y and Fedorov into like Dylan Larkin and like they're not into much after those guys. You know what I mean? Like
no, but like again, I always bring up Sacramento. Like I bring up the Kings. The Kings have never had anybody. Like they had Weber, they had like Mike Bibby and Vladdy.
I mean, you're talking teams that have
just had nothing.
Yes,
ever anything.
So there's never been – is there a pro team that you can think of, regardless of any sport, that's never had, like, a top 10 star player?
Nashville Predators.
Well, Yossi's pretty damn close.
He was knocking on the door for sure.
If we're talking elite, like the McDavids and Crosbys and special talents, you can't really say the Nashville Predators are up there. They've been very good, though. That's the one thing you can't argue. They got to the Stanley Cup final with a really good team, a bunch of really good players. But they've never had the elite of the elite.
No. Arizona and Utah, they've never had anybody. I would say Memphis, like Vancouver and Memphis. John Morant looked like he was going to become that, but who else?
Yeah.
Marc Gasol. Like, who has Memphis ever had that would – Charlotte, no one's ever paid attention to that team, ever.
LeVar Ball,
yeah, but he's not a top 10 player.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is there?
He's talented, but
so you're saying that organization's never had a top 10 player any time of their existence?
I don't believe so. I do not believe so. I'd have to go back.
The Charlotte Hornets have never had anything.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you go way back, and I don't know if like Larry Johnson would count back in the day, or.
I was just going to say him.
But I don't know, man. I don't think so. And you would look at like San Antonio and say, are you kidding me? Like Robinson into Duncan into Wemby, and we've got Larry Johnson into LeVar Ball.
I'm going to say one that I'm going to
or LaMelo Ball, not even LeVar. LeVar's the dad.
I'm going to say one that might, our partner might crawl through the screen, but
I know.
Carolina had one?
I don't think
outside
so,
of Jeff O'Neill?
They had Rantanen for a short while, but I don't think that counts.
You are a hater.
Yeah, it was.
They had Ronnie Francis.
At that point in his career, was he still top 10 in the league?
I don't know if he was a top 10 player in the league, but still Ron Francis.
Yeah, great all-time.
Then it was just into really good players,
well, that's what
great
I think.
players. Rod Brindamore, Eric Stahl, but
it's the Nashville Predators. Like lots of great players, won cups, done things but it's just like I'm talking top 10. Clear cut. There's Hall of Famers.
The best
there.
example, guys. We're talking about a team lucking out and having these great successes, whether it be draft or players falling in their lap. The Florida Panthers might laugh at this conversation because, they got Barkov. But Barkov's not like in the ilk of what we're talking about McDavid, Crosby, and they're like, we win. We've been to 3 Stanley Cup Finals in a row. So take your stupid list or whatever you're talking about.
Right, exactly.
Shove it.
Well, it's a team sport, man.
You're right. I mean, your list. Speaking of, we did get the email today for the. Top 50,
the top 50.
The special Dougie Hamilton list, we'll call it.
The Dougie Hamilton list.
Top 50.
Yeah, the votes are expected in any day now, right? We got to project on the top 50 players this upcoming season in the NHL.
And you just mentioned the Florida Panthers. Is there an argument where a guy like Bobrovsky is overlooked, as a
I think he's got to be in the top 50 the
Vezina?
way he's played and the way he continues to play.
Yeah, but
his
I'm
playoff
just saying
performances put him in there easily, and his track record and his trophy case.
Vezina, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a guy that might be, I don't know if he's knocking on the door of Hall of Fame, but he's been there.
Oh, I think he's going to the Hall of Fame now. You win 2 Vezinas and 2 cups. You go to 3 cup finals.
Yeah,
he won the Conn Smythe the first year, I believe. Right? Bennett won it this past year. I think Bob won it the first cup. Conn Smythe.
McDavid did, didn't he?
Oh, you're right. McDavid did. That's right. McDavid did.
Bob was
already
in
forgotten that. Guy won a Conn Smythe on a losing team, and it's just flushed out of my memory.
2 years ago. You're like, nah, it doesn't matter.
I don't think it counts. There's an asterisk beside that.
Yeah, but you're right. I just feel like Bob is. Do we sleep on him? With how, I mean, he's had an unbelievable career, but is it marred by that patch where it was like, okay, Florida was trying to give him away type of thing? There was
it was a weird, chunk of his career,
right?
For sure. In Columbus, he won Vezinas, but the team wasn't any good. It was all Bob all the time.
Yeah,
and I was having that discussion today. Like, will Sam Bennett be in the top 50?
Yeah.
Is like if it was a playoff ranking, he'd be in the top 5.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. But
from May on,
is he a top 50 regular season player? I don't think he is. I don't think he'll make the list.
That's the hardest.
Does he get like 40, 50 points?
Yeah, 50 points.
Then he's probably not going to be in the top 50.
That's
what that list is all about, guys that rack up points.
Right. What's going to happen is we're going to be doing our list, and you're going to go Clayton Keller, Sam Bennett. Keller's gets more points, electric player, all of that type of stuff, but you're going, God, I watched that Sam Bennett just dominate.
I know, it is tough.
It's hard, right. But do you put it – here's the question for everybody doing it. Do you put your regular season filter on it, or do you put the full season on? Do you put your playoff? Because playoff is so much different.
Totally different list. Totally different approach.
Different list, right?
And you got to handicap which teams are going to get to the end. Right, to even give you a chance to be in a top 5 or top 10. Your team's got to go deep in order for you to do that.
Guys, I have to admit a mistake. Guy wrote in and said, for the record, Yzerman and Fedorov went into Datsuk and Zetterberg, so please watch yourself.
That is very true.
Be careful there.
There was a baton passing.
I'm very sorry for that.
And Lidstrom was a part of the whole ride. Lidstrom was there for all of it on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
What we should say is just Detroit was a juggernaut for so many years. Like,
right.
It's been lean recently. But it's you. That was the gold standard for years. The Detroit Red Wings.
Absolutely.
So, we did oversight there.
Full respect to them.
Yeah.
But the top 50 list is Votes are coming. I might have to recuse myself this year because I got called in this afternoon. I'm going to be hosting that show apparently this year.
Duffy always weighs in, so why can't you?
Okay.
What's the problem?
I guess. So this is the beauty of it. I'm going to vote. I'm going to be so loud about my list. You know how obnoxious I am and how I will not accept anyone else's opinions. And then I have to go on there and canvass for opinion. So
yes.
That's what's coming, I guess, in a couple of weeks. But, yeah, the top 50, it's going to be fun. We'll see if Bennett gets on it.
You'll have a difficult time riding the fence there. You'll be like, yeah, so what are your thoughts? And then you're going to just turn into Brian Hayes. And you're going to be like, that's so stupid. How could you – and then you're going to catch yourself. Oh, we got to go to commercial.
I know. I'll be in a suit, IFB, in the studio. I'm like, maybe I need to relax a little bit here.
Just screaming.
Yeah. So that'll be fun, though. I think Johnny might be a part of that. I'm not sure who's a part of it, but we'll see. And that means the NHL is right around the corner. But, this all started with, I guess, us pumping the tires of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And I think the offense deserves a lot of love, clearly. But the defense, I think, is the story through 2 weeks, where they made two really potent offenses a year ago. Everything resets. Everything can be different from year to year. But Detroit was a juggernaut. Best show on turf last year. And Washington was a juggernaut. And they both, I believe, averaged 30 points per game or over 30 points per game last year. The Packers have given up a combined 31 points in 2 games.
Well, if you're an analyst and you said bringing in Micah could put them over the top and make them a serious contender, then you were bang on as far as 2 weeks into the season.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? Like we again started talking about the executive team in Green Bay knowing who they had in Rodgers, but also knowing what they were getting in Love and trying to project what was going to happen in the future. Clearly, they knew a lot of these younger guys on defense were ready to pop. Like guys like Van Ness going into their 3rd year, like they're ready. These guys are ready. They're going to be cheap for a couple of years so we can afford to pay Micah Parsons. And Gary's ready and Cooper's ready. And, these aren't household names. These aren't names that the average fan would necessarily be aware of. They would know, Xavier McKinney and all that. And there's a couple of guys that have name value on the defensive side of things in Green Bay. But obviously the coaching staff and management, they looked at it and said, this team's ready to pop. Like they're good with or without Parsons. If we add Parsons, it changes everything. And he was still on a snap count last night. He getting doubled basically every time or chipped every time he's out there. But it opens up a lot of pathways for other guys to do work, and that's exactly what's happening. So very impressive start for Green Bay. Yeah. I'm trying to be objective here, but I got to be honest. I feel very good about where things are going.
You should, man. You should. They
look good.
Put you in your place and say kind of settle down, but they look damn good.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. When you're 2-0, doesn't matter. Like I say, there are going to be some concerns after this weekend, though. I'll tell you what. Like if KC goes 0-2. Guaranteed. What is that game? Sunday or Monday?
Sunday. In the afternoon. Hayes.
Well, our boy Arlovsky said if they go 0-2, 0% chance going to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
0.
That is
which is a crazy comment. But.
Well, it's as big of a game as you can get because the stats indicate that if you start your season 0-2, you're cooked.
I know.
Or real close to it.
It's Kansas City, man.
I know. That's why I feel good about them this weekend. Now, we have the pick, and Al's brother and I are butting heads over this. Like, Al's brother's got a pretty strong lean one way. I have a pretty strong lean the other way. I might have to go president of hockey ops on this one and basically, lay down the hammer and make the call. But the idea that Kansas City's this desperate in week 2, speaks to the magnitude of the game, how quickly the NFL season can catch you off guard. But they need it. And Philly's in town, and they're going to be hungry, and they're coming off a long week. And Kansas City had to fly up from Brazil. Worthy's probably not going to be available to play. It's going to be a tough game, but it should be a great game. So more on that with Luke and Al's brother at 5 o'clock. We got Griff coming up. Jays, Orioles starting tonight. Bassett on the mound. Again, you look at this roster. You look at the lineup. They played great yesterday. Gossman was great. Vladdy's DHing tonight. Their lineup, it's amazing they're in the position they're in. It's
wild.
Just amazing. You have Straw playing. You've got Jimenez playing. You got France playing. It's just a crazy lineup. Yet I feel pretty confident. I think you should, considering how well the Jays have played at home.
In years past, we look at that lineup, and we were talking about the dribblers to second and short all the time, and we're like, what else would you expect?
Yeah.
What else would you expect from those guys?
Exactly.
But these guys just they got mojo and they find a way to get it done.
They've got
That's
mojo.
what it is.
Yeah, they've got mojo. So yeah, you got Kiner Falefa playing second tonight. It's just a wild lineup.
Yeah,
like there's no other way to put it. It's a wild 1 through 9 with Springer and Vladdy and Kirk that pop out. But everything else, makes you kind of squint a little bit. Yet they deserve confidence and they deserve, I think a positive attitude from the fan base because of how well they've played. So it's go time tonight down at the Rogers Center. Richard Griffin will come up and take a look at yesterday's outing, what he made of Gosman and how good Gosman's been lately. What happens with Jeff Hoffman moving forward? If Bichette returns and he has to DH, how does that affect the rest of the lineup? We'll get into all that stuff with Griff. Luke Wilson coming up. Dear Hazy B today. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Sunday, Week 2 in the NFL continues as the Dallas Cowboys face off against the New York Giants. A Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and Chiefs. Plus, the Sunday nighter between the Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Luke Wilson coming up just after 5 o'clock. His take on the Packers win last night. And we got some Tyreek Hill audio and visual that we'll play, some video that we'll play. Tyreek's not in a great place down there in Miami.
Well, they're saying he hasn't caught a pass for over 30 yards. And
yeah, it's been over a year.
Forever.
And someone asked him that question. We'll play it for Luke and get his take on, how he would respond in a similar situation because basically asking Tyreek to say, well, Tua stinks. That's kind of what you're kind of leading the witness into that. But we'll play it. We'll get into it. Dan Campbell effectively guaranteeing a win against the Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Seems pretty early in the year for that. That this is such a massive game. Got to have it week 2. But, again, the season goes by quick. And if you're going to lose to the Bears at home after getting smoked by the Packers, I can understand the urgency. So that and more coming up with Luke. Just after 5 o'clock, we got Richard Griffin coming up before Jays Orioles tonight. I was talking to someone today about this Charlie Sheen documentary that's out right now. Apparently,
how is it?
Wild, man. I'm not a big doc guy. Like Noodles, you throw stuff out all the time. You got to see this, got to see that. I think Charlie Sheen and that whole story that might have to drag me in this weekend. Well, I might have to find some time for Charlie.
Now I've heard it's not as wild as but. It's Charlie Sheen.
That's it. There's no softening Charlie Sheen and his story.
I had a buddy. Remember when he was going on a tour? Like he went on like a tour.
Oh, yeah, it was ridiculous.
Played Massey Hall.
Winning tour or whatever it was. One of my buddies was like one of his managers during that. He said it was wild. Like they did, because he was really in the height of his, we'll call it problems. Mm-hmm. And every show was a circus because they didn't know what they were going to get because there was no preparation. He was just going to get up there and turn the mics on.
And people bought tickets and went. The guy was at Massey Hall.
I know.
I don't think a ton of people were going to that nonsense.
I don't know. I think it did better than you think, man.
It was. I think there was not an incident, but I think because he had like guests that were like musical stars and come on, but there was no rhyme or reason to it. Like every show was different. And they were trying to get like into a rhythm. Okay, you're going to do this. And he was like, "No, I'm good." But apparently, he had his drug habits or whatever.
At that point.
Unpredictable.
A little bit unpredictable.
And one time, I think his teeth. There was something wrong with it. Like his teeth weren't working. Like I think they were like rotten. Something happened. It was crazy. Like I heard some stories.
I'm sure you
That's
did.
unacceptable.
I'm sure you heard some stories of Charlie.
Yeah, that was like they were like, we don't know what to do.
Can you imagine managing that guy?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine? That's your livelihood.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to get Charlie on stage down at Massey Hall tonight. We got no plans. It's completely unscripted. We haven't seen him in 2 days. But, it should go well.
Yeah, fine.
Should be great.
Apparently his first show was unbelievable, outstanding.
Yeah.
And then it just fell off a cliff after that because he just thought he was going to roll in, and it just didn't.
Right. After that,
I think it hit a wall in like Detroit or something where it just really went south.
That's disappointing to hear.
Yeah.
All right, Griff coming up here in a moment. We do have to get into the Marc-Andre Fleury PTO situation in Pittsburgh where he's doing this differently. You know where I stand on the, one-day contracts. But this is much more unique than that, much more creative.
Yeah.
Where I guess he's going to be in camp to an extent. They're going to allow him to play, or he's going to play in an exhibition game at home in Pittsburgh as kind of the official signing off of his career.
But he's not trying out for the team.
No,
correct?
he's not. He's not playing. I don't.
But it's basically a one-day contract, but he's playing in the game.
He's going to play in a
cool.
game.
Yeah,
which is a little bit different than I'm just coming down in a suit and signing and taking pictures and holding court for the press.
I don't have a problem with that. It's kind of cool.
It is kind of different. Like I don't know what it says about where the Penguins are at. Like, is there a goalie that maybe wouldn't mind a shot at playing that night? Probably.
The Penguins are at, we need to give the fans something cool. That's what they're at.
That's kind of what it feels like. Let's bring Flower back. It's pretty ugly around here. Everyone's worried Crosby wants out. Let's get a fan favorite back here to play one more game.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool story.
Because
maybe
it's
I'm softening.
Well, you're softening, but it's more about it is the token thing, but it is the right thing to do. Like for him, instead of just showing up and waving and that, he's like, you know what, put me in the net. I'm going to go play. Like, and he's still in good shape. Like, it's not like he's rumbling around. He didn't have to retire because of an injury. He retired because he's 40, coming 41, I think. So, good on him. Good on Pittsburgh. They need some positivity there. They really do, because there's not much else going on there.
No, there's not. I mean, ultimately, it's going to be the Sid watch all year.
Yeah.
Like, more or less, it's going to be the Sid watch all year. All right, Jays-Orioles tonight. And the Orioles are not playing for anything, which could be dangerous, because they're going to go out there and play. It's a divisional game. They understand they can play spoiler. And you got Bassett on the mound tonight. Again, you look at the lineup. You got Springer playing right field, Davis, Schneider in left hitting second, Vladdy DHing tonight, Kirk behind the plate, and then Ernie Clement, Ty France, Kiner Falefa, Straw, Jimenez. That's your 5 through 9. Like that, again, in a different universe, you'd say, well, they're on pace for 72 wins, and a couple of young guys are going to get some at-bats, and we'll see what happens. Instead, they're on pace for like 94 wins. Yeah. And in the driver's seat, here's Richard Griffin from griffsthepitch.com. Griff, can you wrap your head around this lineup tonight?
Yeah, hey, man. I would say that if you ever asked me if the Blue Jays have one left-handed hitter in the lineup and 8 right-handed hitters, and you said it was Andres Jimenez, I would say you're full of it.
Yes.
But clearly, the way that the Bo injury has affected them, they're never going to finish a game with the same lineup that they start the game. If they're trailing, they're going to use the bench to hit. If they're leading, they're going to use the bench to defend. And so this, as an opportunity for a bench player, this is ultimate. I mean, it's not ultimate to have Bo injured and out, but this is the ultimate baseball team roster right here.
Who do you give responsibility for the success of the mishmash type lineup, though, Griff? Is it Ross? Is it Schneis? Is it just the players? Like last year or the year before, we'd be like, what should we expect from these guys? They can't hit, and that's just what they are. But it's pretty damn impressive to watch them come together. Who deserves the credit, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ross stumbled into some of these. I mean, he was accepting the contract of Miles Straw just so they have a shot at the Japanese kid, the pitcher. And it turns out that Straw is doing way more for the Jays than Sasaki is for the Dodgers. So yeah, it's a fortunate series of circumstances that have led to this. But I think that fans in Blue Jays Nation got to give Ross a little bit of credit for once.
Yeah, I agree with you there. A fortunate set of circumstances.
Love it.
No one deserves credit. It's the way that kind of sounds. Is where you're going with that, a little bit of a Lewism in there. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it is amazing how the confidence of a team can allow us to look at this lineup and say, I feel good they'll win tonight. I feel good that they'll find a way to figure this out. But the Bichette injury is an interesting conversation because, it's a knee issue. He's on the IL. We don't know exactly when he's going to return, but I would not be shocked if he had to be eased back in playing DH if that continues through September into the playoffs, where he's not comfortable enough for whatever reason to actually play shortstop, how complicated do things get come playoff time?
I think they get so complicated that you don't do that. I think that if Bo is running neck and neck with Alejandro Kirk on the bases, then you don't do that. And you've got a DH spot that you need guys like George Springer to occupy because he's no longer the defender that he once was. And this team, the pitching staff relies so much on defense that if Bo's slowed down and quick changes of direction affect his sprained knee, I think the 10-day IL was just a minimum, and I think it could be all the way through the season, and then we'll see going into the playoffs if he can play shortstop. But I think he needs to be able to run, to change direction, and to play shortstop to be on any playoff roster, which is a daunting thought, really.
Sorry, Griff, where are you at with Jeff Hoffman and, the closing situation?
Yeah, well, I mean, we see the 15 home runs that he's allowed. We see then a game where he comes in and goes 1, 2, 3 and does the job of a real closer. I'm not so sure that Sir Anthony Dominguez is an answer. We know that Louis Varland is young and needs some time. He's got great stuff, but he's not an answer. We know that I could spike a curveball like for Brendan Little 42 feet in front of the home plate. I could do that.
Yeah.
So really, I think he's the last man standing in that regard. If anyone who wants to volunteer to be closer, take a step forward, and everybody takes a step back, and there's Jeff Hoffman. There's your guy.
Griff, what's the deal with this Santander character? Like, is he going to be a guy, or what? Like, is back now? Like, just give us an update on what he could possibly do or what his story is, because it's been unreal watching him.
They say that on Thursday night he went 1 for 3 in Buffalo and hit a home run and drew 2 walks. But that is AAA, that is Buffalo. They say that hitting from the right side, it doesn't hurt him as much as hitting from the left side. I don't know. It's like, will I be able to play the piano? And the guy goes, yeah. And he says, that's great. I was never able to play the piano before. The same thing with whether Santander can help this team in October. I think they may just decide that the 4 years remaining on his contract, they'll roll the dice because their outfield has not been a problem either defensively or offensively. And bringing a guy in who hasn't played in that long, I think might not be a good idea, especially when he wasn't hot before. Why should he be hot now? And I think that that they will concentrate on pretending that he's getting better and then just invite him back to spring training and give him a job then.
Well, I hope he gets a job. He's still making like $80 million or whatever it is the rest of the way.
But look at Kawhi.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. I mean, that tree planting company, they went out of business pretty quickly. Who knows what's going on with Santander? With Richard Griffin, Jays, Orioles tonight. Another gem from Gausman yesterday. Post All-Star break, he's been phenomenal. They found a lot of rest for him. He's had a lot of extra days rest, and he's going deep in games. He pitched a complete game. That's a unicorn in the sport these days. It feels like weekly we have this chat, and we've had it with you a bunch. If all things were equal, everyone's healthy, everyone's ready to go, game 1 of the ALDS tonight, who gets the ball for the Jays?
Yeah, I think it has been a discussion, and it's been a discussion unique to the Jays because, you've got Tarek Skubal, you've got every team that has their ace, their acknowledged ace, and the Jays were just going on the depth of their rotation and the consistency. But you guys know that in a short series, you need more than just depth. You need more than consistency. You need one guy to step it up. And Gausman has done that. Since the All-Star break, he's got a 2.25 ERA in 10 starts. Remember, he had 8 days of rest. He went into the All-Star break on fumes his last 3 starts, and then he pitched on his 9th day. And since then, he's been on fire. He's 68 innings, which is almost 7, which makes him a marathon man in this day and age. 10 starts, 68 innings, 39 hits, 67 strikeouts, and only 11 walks. The guy's been an ace. He's going to be the ace in the playoffs. they need to set it up, and if they get a first-round bye, it'll be easy to set it up for him to be the game one starter. There's no doubt. And to me, the next two games are going to be either Bieber-Scherzer or Scherzer-Bieber. And, Chris Bassett gets a lot of love from the fan base, but the Jays are 1-7 in his last 8 starts. And they're 19-10 overall with Berríos, and Berríos gets not a lot of love. 19-10, and so there would be my fourth starter right there. So you go 2-3 with the veteran guys, the Cy guys, and then you bring Berríos and you put Bassett out in the bullpen.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's kind of an old school conventional Herm Edwards view. You play to win the game, and when Berríos is on the mound, they win. And when Bassett is, they don't. Yet the stats would indicate Bassett's been better. And I'm not sure. I think the Jays have tried to will themselves into kind of being dirtbags, and I use that as a term of endearment in terms of kind of old school, we're playing our gut type vibes. John Schneider's going to step up and say, I'm not doing this or I'm doing that. I don't know if they can get to a point where, or if they will get to a point where they look at wins and losses as a reason to pitch a guy. And I know how insane that sounds. 20 years ago, you'd be like, what are you talking about? But you know what I'm getting at, Griff. It's more about statistics and innings and velocity and who they're going up against. And I'm not sure how Berríos can win that battle against Bassett.
Yeah, well, Berríos was part of John Schneider emerging from his days of analytics-dominated managing when he got lifted in that Minnesota playoff game. So I think that Schneider is past that. Schneider has had enough success at this point to be his own man. And Berríos has not – he's had one day where he's been above a 4.00 ERA since May. So I think he gets a lot of hate, not much love, but he has consistently been a mid-rotation guy, 3 or 4. And we're asking him to be a fourth starter. He's got 3 more years, and he's got an opt-out after next year. Can you imagine his decision will be made if he's left off the playoff roster as even a fourth starter, despite the numbers that we're talking about? I think that it's just logical, and the fan feelings be damned in terms of putting him in that rotation for the postseason. Yeah,
that's all kind of stuff that has to be considered, or they will consider. We know that. As for Scherzer, he's going tomorrow. It seems like every time out now there's a little flare-up. It's the back, it's the shoulder, the elbow. He gets through it. Do you think it's more important to keep him on the mound, every 5th day the rest of the way, or do you think it might make sense to give him a break?
No, man, you got to get that engine revved up, Hazy. Griff, go ahead.
Go ahead, Griff.
Yeah. Well, he's already exceeded what we talked about earlier in the season, 14 or 15 starts. This will be his 15th start coming up, and we didn't believe he'd ever get there. But I think that Eric Lauer has been on the sideline. He hasn't even warmed up in games. I think that they're holding him back to pitch one of the games in the Rays series, and thus give everybody in the rotation that extra day because they got 13 straight games. Lauer is still useful. The Rays have a lot of left-handed hitters that he can neutralize, and I think that's the plan, is to give Scherzer at least pitching on his 6th day rather than keep wheeling him out there every 5th.
Well, it'll be a fun one tonight, fun weekend. The Orioles always play the Jays tough, and they're certainly in a spoiler position right now. The magic number keeps getting lower, and it lowered yesterday, so the Jays are still in a very good spot. Enjoy the weekend, Griff. We'll do it again soon.
Okay, thanks, guys. Anytime.
Richard Griffin from griffsthepitch.com. Yeah, listen, there's Twitter accounts out there, or X accounts. I was reading it earlier today.
92 wins?
Yeah, the magic number drops to 8 to make the playoffs. The AL East drops to 13. So that's, combined wins by them and losses by, the Yankees or the Red Sox.
Right.
And as for the magic number for a bye, that would be, win the AL East and top 2 seed in the American League is 11. So as we've been saying all week, in the driver's seat.
Yep,
Jays are in the driver's seat, right? Keep winning 2 out of 3. And you're there, man. You win 2 out of 3 this weekend. I'd sign off on that right now.
And they've done a good job of that. When they bend a little bit and you're like, oh, God, this is going to be trouble, they respond.
They always do. They always have. They've been very impressive, man. They're an easy team to root for. You know, and that's credit to them. They've completely flipped things around. All right, Luke coming up at 5 o'clock, and the Packers looking great again last night. Big games in Week 2 of the NFL. We'll catch up with Luke. Dear Hazy B coming up. Al's brother coming up as well with our picks. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Sunday, Week 2 in the NFL continues as the Dallas Cowboys face off against the New York Giants. A Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and Chiefs. Plus, the Sunday nighter between the Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Luke Wilson coming up. Al's brother will join us as well. Mail It In Fridays, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP, where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. We were joking yesterday about how this is the time of year where everyone's in the greatest shape ever, showing up for hockey camps, and everyone's ready to go, and everyone's going to have the best season they've ever had. I saw some quotes today from Craig Berube speaking on Morgan Riley, saying that he doesn't know if he's in the best shape ever, but he thinks he's pretty close, and he's ready to go.
Wow,
so Riley's getting the best shape of all time treatment from his head coach, which is better than coming from himself. Right?
Yes.
You'd expect the player to say greatest shape ever when the coach is doing it for you. That's even more significant tire pumping.
Don't you read it as the coach would have said to him, it better be the best shape of your life this season? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way it reads, wouldn't you think?
I think so.
That's the way Craig Berube is. No nonsense guy, straight shooter going. When you have your exit meetings, it's like, okay, this is what I need to see. I've been here a year now. Got a good feeling of what I like from guys and what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. I guarantee you in exit meetings, it's like, we need this from you.
And if you didn't have your best year, Jamie, it's like you got to start with being in the best shape of your life, and it all starts there, and to give yourself the best chance to have success next season.
I'll tell you who is in game shape. I saw some guys last night. One, Jonas Siegel, he looked like George Hamilton. Like, I don't know why he's the most tanned I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's been out in California.
I don't know what he was doing. I said, you're so
does he
tan.
live out there in the summer?
I think his mom lives out there. Yeah, he goes out and sees family. He's got family that's out there. He goes out there for weeks and just
He's like, I was on
hits
vacation.
the beach every day.
On the sun? I don't know what happened to him, but it was like he looked good, though. Jonas Siegel looked really good.
Well, Jonas is getting a lot of scoops, right? Like, he was the one that he was talking to Berube and getting answers on how Tavares, coming back, and Berube's excited about that, of course, naturally. Right. And I believe he is, but of course he's going to say that. What else is he going to say?
Yeah.
And what they do with the extra A on the jersey now that Marner's gone. And I think you just, old school professional, I don't know what it was like for the teams you guys played on. Give me a captain and 2 A's, and that's it. Like, just Tavares and Riley are the A's, home and away, and that's the way it goes. It's not a rotation. This is in-house league.
It's just like everyone's got to get a trophy. It's so stupid.
Well, it depends
like when all those guys came up, they were afraid to say, "Oh, no, you're not gonna miss out on the A. You're all gonna get one. You're gonna get one on the road or whatever." 2 of them all year, same thing, done.
That's what it was. They switched to like road and home assistants so they could add into the leadership group.
It was so soft.
Okay, so
unnecessary.
But if you're looking at it, then would Willie be pissed he doesn't have a letter?
Who cares? Willie's making 11-5.
Jake McCabe, there are leaders on that team.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Jamie, every leader's got to say, you know what, I'm a leader, but I don't have a letter on my jersey. I got to just move on from it. Not a big deal.
I agree. There's lots of leaders I played with that didn't have a letter on their jersey, but when it was about to hit the fan, you looked to them and they stood up. Like, that's what happened.
Right.
So
they got a veteran team. Like, Chris Tanev could have one. McCabe, like you said, could have one.
Yep.
Ekman Larson probably could have one.
Agreed.
There's a lot of different guys. Scott Lawton's a leader. Like, he's a grizzled veteran. Mm-hmm. At some point you got to draw the line. And But Morgan Riley, the discussion about him, his defensive play, it struggled last year. That's always been the chatter about him. Like, where's he at defensively? Right. How much can you expect? Berube was hammering away at that last year, and it was a bit of a struggle for him. But he shows up in the playoffs, and when he's on his game, he's skating, he's up in the play, and I think they have to allow for that. With Marner gone, maybe he gets back in the power play. Maybe they get away from the 5-forward power play, and Riley gets in there and gains a little bit of confidence, but they need him. He's a top 4 defenseman that's very capable. He's a veteran making pretty good money.
Yeah,
he's got to pull his weight.
Yeah, when you're making that chunk of change and you've been around that long, you got to be a solid contributor. What you can't be, Hayes, you can't be a guy that people are looking at with a question mark, like what's he going to bring? It's got to be automatic, number 1 guy, solid every single night, because that's what you're paid for. That's what you're paid for. Whatever that number is, he's their number 1 D-man. You got to play like it.
I think he is going to have a great year based on what you just said. Hey, Hayes, points, even if it's power play points, it helps with confidence. Keep in mind, that 5-man power play really hurt his production from a point standpoint because you get a lot of freebies on there. You quarterback the power play, you move it to the sidewall, and then Austin or Willie makes a great play. And, listen, Morgan's can quarterback it. So he could get maybe 15 to 20, not freebies, but power play points that can add to his total. I think that translates to a great year. I think Morgan Riley's going to have a great season.
Yeah,
I do.
I think he's got to. I mean, listen, he was a new dad last year. That's a big transition for everyone's life. That's it's not an excuse or anything, and he would never, I don't think, ever suggest that. But it's, these are people we're dealing with, and you have your personal lives and stuff comes up and whatever. And it's positive stuff. It's not negative stuff. It's just a reality. But I agree with you. I think Riley's still very capable, and he's the longest-standing Leaf. Yeah. Yes, Austin's at the forefront of a lot of questioning now, and Tavares and Willie, and you got Berube and Tree Living. Morgan Riley has been here longer than anybody, and he's starving for victories. He's starving for success, and now his coach is saying, go out and show it, do it. And his teammates will be waiting for him, too, and I think the fan base will be, too. Yeah. And I think he's going to have a great year. Hour 2 coming up. Luke Wilson will join us. Best bet still to come. Dear Hazy B, OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on YouTube Live.
It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hazy, O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McKenna, Al's brother coming up in a bit, Luke Wilson in just a moment. Dear Hazy B later in the hour. What a night for the Green Bay Packers. The crowd chanting, "Thank you, Jerry," after the game for the Amazon.
I would be too, every game chant that.
Thanks, Jerry. Hey, Jerry, thank you so much. We appreciate you trading Micah Parsons.
Every organization in pro sports is clamoring for just generational talents, unique talents, studs, and you just handed them one. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, you did. And again, it's 2 weeks in. It's a long season. A lot of things can happen here.
A lot of swings.
A lot of swings. But Packers go at the Browns, at the Cowboys, and then hit their bye. I think 4-0 is on the table before they hit the bye. If they have the season I think they're going to have, then what's that pick going to be in the first round? 28th pick? 30th pick? They make the Super Bowl 31st, 32nd pick for Micah Parsons. The 31st pick, 32nd pick.
Insane.
Seems like it could possibly lead to that.
It is.
And if they make a Super Bowl, the Packers are like, all right, we don't care. It's a great move by us. Unbelievable trade. What a start by Green Bay. And we got some big games on the slate this week. Do we have our boy Luke? Sure, he's waiting, and I'm sure he's okay. He'll join us here in a moment. And you guys have the 1 o'clock game, and you got the Sunday nighter. All right. And as of now, Hayes and Bro, people are calling us a dynasty. I don't like that term. I don't agree with that. I push back on that.
You say that every year. I think you've said that every year.
I push back on it.
You're calling us a dynasty.
I'm uncomfortable with that title. But we did pick a winner again last night. So, it was a good start. And, you look at Jaden Daniels, who's got, tons of talent, clearly, and they got some weapons on that team. They just couldn't They couldn't get loose. Green Bay was swarming them.
Dude, it was suffocation, man. It was just, we're not doing that. And that's what he's got to, that was one of those moments for him where he would go back to the locker room and be like, that's where I got to step up, be better. Everyone's got to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that would be one of those humbling things where it's like, that's the next level.
Yep.
And that's what I got to get to.
Yep.
Same as the playoffs.
That's right. That's right. It's not easy. It's not easy to go on the road, especially in a short week. It was a tough spot for the Commanders, who have not won there in 40 years, since 1986.
That is a wild stat, too, though.
Yeah, that one hurts.
When you know you go into a building and you got no chance to win. That's hard.
You have no
That's
chance.
hard.
It's the layup of the year. Like, you guys are talking about a dynasty. Like, the layup of the year.
It was an easier pick. You know,
Yes.
admittedly, we like
Where are we?
like
You
Green
guys,
Bay.
you guys are +1 now. You're +1.
Yeah, maybe +2.
If you smell what the Win Wilson is cooking,
Maybe +2. Yes, the Milli Vanilli's coming back as the dynasty rolls
Come on. Now.
I like it, man. I like it. What were you more impressed by last night, the Packers offense or the Packers defense?
Defense for sure. I'll tell you what's impressed me with the defense is that the two teams they've played, the Lions and the Commanders, the Lions have a better offense than the Commanders, more complete. But the Commanders with Jay Daniels there, they've scored a lot of points and looked electric. They've made opposing offenses look terrible, not look mediocre. They've just utterly dominated them. And I know Micah is the story, as he should be. He's been an outrageous disruptor. But across the board, this defense has been balling out of their mind. Their two inside backers have looked great, Cooper and Quay Walker. Secondary's hemmed everybody up. I mean, Rashawn Gary's looked good. The interior defensive lines look good. I'm like, man. And they just are playing a crazy energy. And then you add Mike into the fold. I'm blown away how much they've been able to dominate the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, me too. And you're right about Micah Parsons because he's got that energy to him, right? It's not, you put a tackle in there, that guy's just going to clog things up. And, someone that knows football would look at that and say, wow, that's incredibly effective. But there's something about Parsons and the way, he's getting chipped every single down. He's getting double teamed, but he just doesn't stop. He just mows.
Fast as hell, man.
Yeah, he never stops.
It's crazy. The explosiveness is nuts. And I think, too, when you get a guy that's as generational as he is against the pass, and he's motivated as he is, now whether that's a combination or whether it's because he's in Green Bay or it's because he just wants to stick it to Jerry Jones or a combination of the two of them, it's a great thing for Packers fans. I mean, he's just bought in, and we haven't seen this guy bought in like this in years.
And
so
Luke, we were talking
again, it's been fun.
Yeah, we were talking in the last hour about how fortunate Green Bay fans have been where you go Favre into Rodgers into Love. I mean, how impressive is that?
Yeah, I think that's a testament to that organization because, I mean, that's when you think back on history of football, I think organizations, the one that kind of sticks out would be Montana into Steve Young, but to be able to do, like you said, guys that, and I'm not saying Love is at an MVP caliber yet, but it looks like he's trending in that direction in future years. And when you can go from Favre, who won numerous MVPs, to Aaron Rodgers, who won numerous MVPs, to potentially Love in a few years, I think if he keeps progressing, we'll be in the conversation. It's not like they're just getting guys that are good at quarterback. Obviously, Brett and Aaron were the best players in the league at some point, and it looks like Love has that ability. Again, I want to be very clear, under no circumstance am I saying that he's an MVP favorite currently, or am I putting him in the Josh Allen category? But he certainly looks like he has the ability to grow into that category, which, again, you got to tip your cap because if they pull this off and they get back-to-back-to-back 3 quarterbacks in a row that all win MVPs, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just sickening if you're a Bears fan, if you're a Vikings fan, even the Lions who, they've had success, obviously, the last couple of years, but they had no success for Favre, none for Rodgers. They got Stafford, they had Megatron, but everything else was a disaster. And, you look at it just within the division, you're like, how are we supposed to compete with these guys? Because I think Goff probably deserves to be rated above Love as of today in terms of expectation for the season, but I don't think it's by much. And he's definitely ahead of Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy. I mean, it's not even close. So within the division, at worst, he's second, but he might be the best quarterback already in the division.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of respect for Jared Goff, and I think he's a premier guy. So, but you got to put Love. Like, to me, when you're judging quarterbacks right now, you have your big four, Josh, Lamar, Patty Mahomes, and I would put Burrow in there. Like, I know some people would disagree. To me, it kind of goes like Mahomes, Lamar, Josh, 1, 2, and 3, whatever way you want to slice that out. And then I've always felt like Burrow is a fourth. That's kind of my own personal vibe, and that's not a shot at him. I just think those other 3 guys are electric. And then let's call it 5 through 10. Love is in there. Stafford, when healthy, is in there. Jared Goff for me is in there. Again, this is my personal list. So it's pretty wild, again, that Love he's just looked confident. And it's funny because I still think there's a ton of meat on the bone as well. Like, there were a few throws last night where I'm like, hey, if this guy didn't miss these throws, this thing gets even uglier. I mean, his stat line looked great, and I thought he missed a few throws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks uber confident, man. Like, really, really confident. Now, Jaden Reed's out with a broken collarbone, but, that's going to be the story with that offense. Like, Tucker Kraft's a stud, man. Like, Kraft can play, like, as a tight end. He's a stud, man. But, Jacobs can still run, and they need Golden to get going. I do think they need a number 1 receiver to pop at some point. Like, at least separate a little bit, I think, in Green Bay for playoff success.
Yeah, I do too. And, it's just a really nice thing to have in the playoffs. I think the Bills ran into this a little bit last year, where it puts a ton of pressure on the quarterback when you don't have that guy, and the Bills get away with it because they've got Josh Allen, and again, I don't think Love is in that conversation whatsoever yet. So it's like, man, when you don't have that kind of safety valve or that guy, you can be like, hey, here's our red zone guy, or here's our third down guy. And I'm going to him until they, bracket him over the top with a safety, or we're going to motion him around to make sure that, we got a great matchup when you expect him to win. When you don't have that, that means that your quarterback really has to be locked in on details, go through the progression, read the defense correctly every time. So it puts a lot of pressure on Jordan Love. But so far this year, he's been great at it.
Partsy, any really good teams, maybe the Chiefs, like if they go 0-2, would you be concerned, or are you still like, that's still the Chiefs, nothing to worry about? Who would you be worried about the most quality team?
Honestly, right now I would say if they go 0-2, it would be the Lions. The reason being, like, I think when you have so much success like they had, this is a team that won 15 games last year. And then you have the upset in the playoffs. And I should rephrase that. Not if they go 0-2, but if they go 0-2 in the same fashion, they take the same sort of beatdown they took in week 1. I think that there's going to be a lot of coaches in the building that are really feeling pressure. You look at John Morton, the new OC, they did not have a good week 1. Kelvin Shepard, the new DC, did not have a good week 1. And it's like, man, even as a player, yes, the offense and defense have lost a few pieces. I wouldn't say the defense has lost, more so the offense has lost a few pieces. But it's one of those things where you're like, we were rolling with Ben Johnson, and now all of a sudden we lose Frank Ragnow. We still got Amon-Ra. We still got Jameson Williams, still got Jahmyr Gibbs. And we can't score points. So, like, the players feel that too. Again, I shouldn't say if they go 0-2, more so if they go 0-2 and they get beat down, I could see some doubt creeping into the players' minds.
Well, especially if it's against Chicago, right? Like if the Bears come in and it's Ben Johnson getting revenge or whatever. Not that he left on bad terms, but
I don't think that's happening, Hazy.
No. I feel pretty confident that the Lions are going to win, but you can see and hear the desperation. Like Campbell's he's basically guaranteeing a win in week 2.
He's freaking out.
Yeah.
So, again, yes. There's been a couple crazy coaching interviews coming from the Lions. crazy coaching interviews. I'm like, dude, this team is for 0-1 I know it's a division team, but again, you guys heard me. Last time we spoke, I'm like, I'm not hitting the panic button. It was a bad game. They didn't play well on either side of the ball. And I know they've had success at Lambeau. I get that, really do. But it's like, Lambeau is not an easy place to play. That's a very good football team. They just got Micah Parsons. Like, there was a lot of things stacked up against the Lions. So I've been surprised to kind of hear some of these coaching interviews, to say the least.
Yeah.
Didn't McDaniels take a shot at himself? Didn't he have some weird comments after game one?
Down in Miami? Oh, yeah. Man. He's saying weird things about...
He's been saying stupid stuff since training camp.
Yeah, like...
He knows he's done.
That's the thing, like, again, I just mentioned that, like, hey, we lost. If you're Detroit, and you definitely, if you're in that locker room, you see yourself as a Super Bowl contender all day. Okay, so it's not acceptable to lose to anyone the way they did. But in the front office, there's at least, like, again, we got our butts kicked by a very, very talented, very physical, very good football team. If you come in after week one and lose to Daniel Jones where you're down 30-0,
that's different.
That's
man.
a different story. That is a very different story than going in and like, okay, we're in Lambeau and like the Green Bay Packers got after us and they just got Micah Parsons, and it's a very different story than like, hey, Daniel Jones just put the boot to us.
No kidding. No, you're right.
There's some problems.
Losses, there's always context, right? You look at Kansas City. They're in Brazil.
Yes.
Chargers look good. Herbert looked really good. It's a divisional game. Yeah.
Well-coached team as well.
Yes.
Harbaugh, say what you want about the guy. Everywhere he's gone, he's won, and he's had very well-coached teams.
Right, exactly.
So there's a lot of context to that loss.
Exactly. That's why you look at this week, and we'll get to this in a moment. Al's brother will join us here in a couple minutes. But the Chiefs are, they're a home dog this week, coming off a loss, like backs up against the wall. Yes, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Yes, the Eagles absolutely destroyed them in the Super Bowl. But
still don't expect them to be a home dog.
It's still Kansas City with Mahomes at home with their back up against the wall.
I'll tell you why I think that is I believe he's listed as doubtful now, and it's Xavier Worthy.
Yes. Yes, he is.
If you put in Rashee Rice and you put in Xavier Worthy, that line probably flips. It's tough because we expect all this magic out of Mahomes, and rightfully so. I mean, he is that good. But it's like, man, like you look at any of these quarterbacks, if you take away their number one and number two guys, it's going to be a tough sled, and now you're going up against, statistically last season, a great defense. Like, it's not easy. Again, we talk about the Lions. Like, imagine, hey, we're going up against Green Bay, and we're going to take out Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we're going to take out, I would say Jameson Williams, but, you could argue Laporte as their number two guy. But you get my point here. Mm-hmm. It's just like, hey, if J.J. McCarthy had to roll in, and J.J.'s obviously not Patrick Mahomes, but without Justin Jefferson, and Addison's already suspended as it is, like, we're giving him a pass. So it's like, and that's why I say I don't think we count them out. When they get those two guys back, I think that offense will be very, very tough to stop. Very tough to stop.
There he is. One half of the dynasty. Al's brother. I'm uncomfortable being called a dynasty. I push back on it all the time. How do you respond, Al's brother, when people are yelling that at you?
Plus one.
Oh.
Well.
We won 3 in a row here. I mean, we won 3 in a row. We're rolling. It's going to be 5 in a row by the end of the weekend.
This is ridiculous.
It's not
I feel
us.
great.
It's the public.
Listen,
we're walking down the street. People are yelling dynasty at us. It's awkward, man. I'd prefer
it's
they
crazy.
didn't.
Give us our first game. Give us our first game, honestly.
I hear you, Al's brother. It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. All right, first game you guys are playing Seahawks at Steelers. A Doogie layup because Seattle stinks and they got to go across the country here. But a little Doogie layup to start for you guys. Steelers laying 3, minus 3 at home.
I thought it was 2.5.
The spread has changed.
Moved to 3.
Evidently, it's 3. Steelers minus 3.
Oh, gosh, really? Okay, Partsy, here's
Losing
where I'm
that
at.
hook
You know
is
I'm a
tough.
Seattle guy. It is tough. Okay, so this is what I'll say, Partsy. I think Seattle is a little better than what they showed on tape last week. And I'll tell you where we're getting slightly jammed right now is that don't worry. You're going to like where this goes. We're getting jammed because the Seahawks injury report isn't out yet. You know, obviously West Coast, they haven't finished their practice. But as of right now, the information I've got is that Witherspoon is doubtful. So with Witherspoon doubtful, like Tariq Woolen had some issues last week. I got to roll Pittsburgh at home. I really do.
That's what I thought I was going to hear,
okay.
But you were getting me a little bit confused.
No.
I love pity at home.
Yes, I think it'll be a tight game. The one thing I worry about for us, Partsy, is I do think that the Seahawks front seven and defense is pretty solid, but without their best corner in there, I kind of tip the scales for me. Go the other way. I'll say this. The other thing that's slightly worrisome is I don't really think Justin Fields is that great of a quarterback. And somehow the Steelers defense made this guy look like John Elway last week.
Mm-hmm. He was good, man. He was running.
Hopefully for our sake, the Steelers defense shows up and we get this cover.
Okay. I like that. I don't have a big issue with that, Alice, brother. Like, Seattle's facing 0-2. This is desperation time. They got to win this game or keep it close.
Well, getting the hook is great for us. Moving from 2.5 to 3 is so difficult, and I could see this game ending on a serial killer kick from Chris Boswell, and they probably are. And Luke is screaming, calling it a fix that we had the hook put back up there to make it 3 points. I already know that text is coming. It's going to happen.
I know it's coming too. It's in the drafts already, and it's Friday. All right, so here's the game of the year. I mean, this is what Doogie does to us. We get Bills-Ravens to start the season, which was the pick of the century. And now we're facing Eagles-Chiefs, and the Chiefs are getting 1.5 at home. Like, as tough as it gets in terms of handicapping and talking football, Alice, brother, where does your head go with this game?
It's just so hard not to look at the Super Bowl and see how badly the Eagles destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs, isn't it? Like, it's just so difficult to look past it. I don't think the Chiefs are that much better that they were a year ago when they lost to these exact Philadelphia Eagles. That being said, Hazy B, the Chiefs have had all offseason to sit on this loss. I guarantee you Andy Reid and my guy Spags have been scheming up for this game all offseason, knowing that it was coming. Hey, last week, that problem in Brazil, they probably stumbled last week because they were looking ahead to what was happening here in week 2 against Philadelphia. And you better believe that when Mahomes' back is against the wall, this guy shines brightest. 7-0-1 in his career against the spread as a home dog. So when he's doubted, it's when he comes up big. And I think Patty Mahomes can bring it home once again for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Alice, brother, I see it the same way. It's an incredibly difficult game.
You're not changing it because that's an awful pick.
It's an incredibly difficult game to pick. It is. Here's one more little sneak.
Partsy, we're in good shape.
Yeah, we are.
Here's
that's
a sneaky
moronic.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge element to this. The refs are going to love the Chiefs on Sunday, man. You think the NFL wants them starting 0-2? No chance. With Taylor Swift in the house?
This is what we can't do this year. We did a couple last year. I think San Fran at Buff, it was snowing, and we talked about weather. There might have been a cold game in Green Bay. We overthought a lot, and that's exactly what these guys are doing right now. Like the morons.
You're still overthinking. Chiefs getting points at home with their back up against the wall. No. Are you kidding me? Taylor Swift with her engagement ring in the house at Arrowhead.
Dude, who's he going to throw the
Dallas
ball to? Who's he going to throw the ball to?
The Eagles they didn't play well last year. Their secondary was terrible.
Who are they going to throw the ball to?
Partsy, show these guys the Hollywood Hills in the background. Show these guys the Hollywood Hills in the background. Show them what
Where are you, in Ottawa?
Welcome to Vancouver. Welcome to Vancouver.
Oh, he's in Vancouver.
Okay. Nice. Looks good.
Yeah, that looks all right.
Lions, Red Blacks tonight.
I love it. Okay, we'll get to that in just a moment. But we're locking it in, Al's brother. This is eerily similar to the Sunday Nighter, Bills getting points at home. You can't bet against Josh Allen in that situation. The Chiefs facing 0-2. You know, the Eagles, they were okay. They weren't great. Let's not forget how they finished the season strong or great in the playoffs. They were not, like, spectacular during the regular season last year.
Right.
I think we lock it in. I think we lock it
Yeah.
in. Chiefs plus 1.5. Chiefs
Mahomes
win.
and points at home, you just have to take it. You just have to take it.
Exactly. Like I said to you earlier today, I'd rather be a week late.
No thought process.
I'd rather be a week late than a week early on their demise.
The only loss we have is Patrick Mahomes right now. The only loss we have is Patrick Mahomes
and a
on this side.
defense.
So I'm glad you guys are returning the favor.
Their defense will be flying. Spags in that crowd. That place is going to be going nuts on Sunday.
No Dallas Goedert, by the way. Dallas Goedert out this week as well.
Big hit.
Yeah.
Big hit. All right, lock it in. Eagles. All right, Sunday nighter. You guys are on it. What's the line here? We got Falcons Vikings
3.5
in mini laying 3.5.
Yeah,
this is a tough one,
this
boys.
is a tough one. It's a tough one, and I'll tell you, I didn't really go back and forth on this because we're going to ride with what we did last week. We're going with Minnesota, and I'll explain why we got to ride with this.
I love it, man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Penix Jr. is still a young quarterback, doesn't have a ton of starts under his belt. And just like Caleb Williams last week, Flores, even if the first drive is a little janky, Brian Flores, D coordinator of the Vikings, he is a crazy mastermind defensive guru. He'll have guys flying all over the place. He's going to fluster Penix into throwing a pick or a turnover, and that'll be the difference. I think JJ, again, we meant to sweat this thing out just like last week. JJ will settle in. This is going to be a second-half cover. I really believe that there'll be a couple turnovers from Atlanta that's going to be the difference in this thing, and we'll win this bad boy. I think Vikings by 6 points will do it. We'll be happy. We'll have an immaculate Sunday.
I don't mind being on Atlanta. I don't mind. I like Penix, man. I like the weapons. I like the weapons.
Every time we make a pick, you just dream up a guy in the
Well, it's not the Bears anymore.
I don't mind being on that guy.
The Bears stink, dude. The Bears are going to Bears.
They're a good club.
Right?
Here's what concerns me. Here's what concerns me about you guys taking the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure if you took at the injury report, but man, is that a long list in Minnesota. No Christian Darrisaw again. You saw the Vikings struggle for 3 quarters handling pressure. That's a good defense out there, retooled defense in Atlanta. They'll get to the quarterback and apply pressure. But more concerning is the But more concerning is the defensive injuries. Andrew Van Ginkel, Blake Cashman, their 2 best linebackers, instrumental in Flores' system, out. Jeff Okudah, out. Harrison Smith, questionable again
Falcons
after missing last week. Those are big losses. The Falcons got a lot of good weapons. They can attack the middle of the field. Penix had 300 yards last week. And another 21 on the ground with touch. He looked fantastic. I love being on the Falcons. And we get the hook at 3.5.
There you go.
Yes.
I love being on the Falcons. I love it. I love the Seahawks and I love the Falcons.
I love being on the Falcons. Let's go, guys.
Yeah. Seahawks and Falcons, man. We're bird people, right, Alice, brother? You and I.
Falcons are spread gods. Spread gods.
Spread gods. All right. Picks are in. How are we feeling about the Argos and Elks tomorrow? Think the Argos roll? They should. I mean, Edmonton stinks.
They do.
You know what?
Unfortunately, Noodles.
Honestly, Edmonton's got the Cinderella shoe on right now. I'm pulling. I have done a full cannonball. I'm on the Cody Fajardo bandwagon. I love this guy. He's just the grittiest dude in the league. He's got him back in the playoff contention. Personally, I don't know if they get it done, but I'm pulling for Edmonton. I hope that I hope they find a way to kind of keep messing up this whole playoff picture. Everyone wrote them off. They got a big win last week against Calgary. They're right back in this thing.
Hanging around.
Exactly. Like
Noodles,
the crossover is alive and well.
Yeah, the crossover is alive and well. Again, it's going to be a good game. I think Arbuckle is in conversation for the MOP. I can't stand saying that, to be honest. It just doesn't ring in my head like MOP. I know that's a differentiation between MVP, but it's like I kind of like the 2 guys, a chip on their shoulder. You got Fajardo. He's kind of jerked around at the beginning of the year. He's been jerked around this league for a long time. And you got Nick Arbuckle, who's also beginning of the year. A lot of people were talking a lot of smack. They're not saying much now.
Yeah, you're right. Someone's getting
quarterback
in.
Game.
Someone's getting in. Argos, Lions, Elks, man. Big games.
Well, it is big games, and I got a few goon buddies going to the game tomorrow. Those guys enjoy themselves. In Edmonton, man, they just it's a lifestyle out there. Elks fans, it's a lifestyle.
CFL, West Coast CFL fans. Oh man, it's another scene out there.
It really is.
Yeah.
you buy some mix. That's what you do. You go down to the concession, you buy some mix, and then there happens to be, a bottle floating around at the upper of the stands. You just pour yourself a drink. It is great. It is wild. Like I've been to games. I've been to games in middle of snowstorms and stuff, and people are just pouring themselves one, passing it on. It is a lifestyle there. Exactly.
I'll tell you what. There was they got the Rum Hut in Winnipeg. But the one that I really wanted, and I did venture in there with the camera, nothing offside, but I think they call it Pill Country in Saskatchewan, Regina. That place looked like an absolute riot. I was like, dude, this is the spot to be, man. I definitely.
That's a different level.
I definitely could spend a game there, I'll be honest.
That's a bit different. That takes it to an extreme, but they know how to party and they love football in Saskatchewan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick, I got some breaking news here, Els brother, that has me feeling great about the Falcons on Sunday.
Lay it on me.
Oh no.
J.J. McCarthy and fiance just welcomed first child.
I knew that. That's not
that
right.
means not
automatic victory.
That means not
He's
at
not
practice.
Sleeping.
Victory.
Can't sleep.
He's not sleeping.
Exhausted. Heads elsewhere.
He'll be home tonight on the couch. Sorry.
No, he won't. He'll be on duty, dude. He'll be in there with a bottle at 3 in the morning.
He'll be
Falcons
playing free. That
Penix
puts things in perspective. He'll be playing free.
Falcons roll.
No.
Falcons money line Sunday night.
Falcons by, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, something like that.
6, 7,
I don't know.
Don't try to get us, brother.
I still don't know what that is.
It doesn't matter.
Noodles.
We're boomers, according to this guy.
Listen,
I gotta know. Noodles kids know. Noodles kids know.
My daughter knew. My son is like, what the hell are you talking about? But I have been, a lot of people have been reaching out saying, like, if, I'm a grade 5 teacher, it's everywhere, like that type of stuff. So I don't, again, I'm an old man and I don't hang out at school. So like I say, I don't know these trends exactly. Creep walking around in the background. I drop my kids off and I pick them up. That's it. But I don't know anything about these trends. I'm the last guy to know about
I'm with you.
Trend.
I still don't have a clue. And I really don't care either. Al's brother brought it to our attention. It went in one ear, out the next. No offense, Al's brother.
Big dad.
But anyway,
It's not taken.
There you go. Picks are in. You guys are on the Steelers. We're on the Chiefs. You guys are on the Vikings. It's going to be an immaculate week. I can feel it, Al's brother.
Immaculate
week. Feel it. I can feel it.
It feels so good.
It feels amazing.
Oh, my goodness. I can't wait till
It's great
Monday.
to be back riding with you, Partsy. 2 weeks in. It's a blast, man. Catch you guys on Monday. Great seeing you guys. There's Luke Wilson and Al's brother. Cheers. Picks are in. All right. Best bets still to come. Dear Hazy B coming up. Mail it in Friday, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. Speaking of the Argos, we're going to be down at BMO Field next Friday. We're going to be down there for the show. We cannot wait. Huge game, Argos Alouettes. It's going to be amazing. So if you got tickets, come down and see us. If you don't, get tickets, come down and see us. It's going to be a blast to be down there. All right, best bet still to come. Jays and Orioles tonight. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Sunday, week 2 in the NFL continues as the Dallas Cowboys face off against the New York Giants.
A Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and Chiefs.
Plus, the Sunday nighter between the Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away.
All right, Dear Hazy B coming up in about 10 minutes. We mentioned earlier today we all got the email for TSN's top 50, right? The projection of the top 50 players in the NHL this upcoming season, and having a chat with Mike Lane earlier today. And there's a lot of intrigue in terms of the way it's going to play out. Like, I think we all know McDavid's going to be number one. Like, I think he'll be unanimous. I would expect he's a unanimous number one pick.
Yeah.
But then it's all bets are off. It could be Draisaitl. It could be McKinnon. It could be Makar. Where does Matthews come in?
Didn't Hellebuck win the Hart last year?
Exactly. You're right, Noodles. Is he going to double down on that and be the second best player in the game? I don't think he'll end up at number 2.
Makar should get a lot, as good as Draisaitl is, and I know it's a lot of 1-2. He's just the second best. That Makar, even as good as McKinnon is, that Makar is something else. He should get a ton of love for 2. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
I hear you. I think the top 4 players could be on 2 different teams. Yeah. There could be 2 Oilers and two Avalanche, and then the rest of the league fighting for 5th.
But you got it. Yeah, you're right. But it's moving forward. It's not looking back. The one thing I could make a case, and it's not a very strong one. Like McDavid, for one, he's going to be motivated. This guy's lost 2 Cup finals, and he's got a. Not that you're playing for a contract, you know what I mean? But he's in a contract year. He's going to be a madman
playing
possessed.
for a contract.
You know what I mean?
So terrifying, though, Noodles. Imagine that guy with a chip on his shoulder for a contract.
But just you're right. He could write a blank check right now. But you did hear his comments saying, I want to score more this year. I want to do, he might be a man possessed here, saying, I've got to get this group over the hump. Who knows?
You think he wants another Hart? Why wouldn't that matter? Why wouldn't that matter? It should matter. You still got to play the regular season. I know you want a Conn Smythe in the Cup. That's what you want, of course.
Yeah.
But why not chase another Hart Trophy? Yeah. Why not keep adding to that?
I agree.
Just not on his honest, as stupid as it sounds, Hayes, not on the priority list.
It's not. You're right.
Yeah. Although didn't he say this year he wants more goals?
Yeah, exactly. Why would we hold it against him if he's I want to be great during the regular season?
You've got to come up with something to motivate yourself for the regular season.
Yes.
Very simple.
Chase a Hart.
Yeah.
Chase a Hart down.
Well, he's going to he is a motivated guy. Here's the other thing. All eyes are on him. Every night, all eyes are going to be on him. They already are because he's such an amazing player. But the longer it goes without a contract, there's good night, bad night. There's going to be a narrative comes out of it. It's just he's placed himself in that situation.
Who do you think should be more motivated to have a big year this year, McDavid or Matthews?
Matthews, come on, man. One guy went to the finals. One guy was kind of injured, and they won a round and they kind of look good. It's Matthews all day long.
I would say Matthews, but I don't think McDavid's far off. He wants to finish a job there. He's fallen short 2 years in a row.
Jamie, McDavid is an automatic every year, the most motivated guy in the league. He's the pick every year.
Yeah.
So how is Matthews a lock then over him if he's the pick every year?
I'm just saying, if you're going to compare those two, one guy should be, okay?
Yeah, Matthews, I think you come back to it, Brian, is Matthews should be motivated. He, it was his team last year, but now it's really his team. Mitch is gone. There's lots of questions. 33 goals last year, injury. Did he get 69 because this guy's put it on his stick? I don't believe all of that, but it is nice to go out and prove it. So motivation is there for Auston Matthews.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think he should be more motivated. They need him. They need McDavid in Edmonton, clearly.
Yeah.
But, with Marner leaving, the equivalent hasn't left in Edmonton. There's been turnover, but not the equivalent of a guy like Mitch Marner. So there's that much more focus on Matthews. I think you could look at every team, certainly in the country. Elias Pettersson probably should be more motivated than anybody else in the league.
You would think.
Should be.
Yeah. Guns blazing every shift, running people over, scoring, the whole nine.
Absolutely. I guess Dustin Wolf, now that he's got his contract and people are doubting, should you have gotten this? Is it too early? Maybe he should be motivated to go out and continue to prove who he is. I think you could do it for every team in the league. You could find somebody. But, the list will be interesting. I think Matthews will be in the top 10.
I think so.
But the fact that it's a question speaks to, how he played last year. Would you be shocked if some TSN voters didn't have him in the top 10?
Yes. Well, I think top 10, come on. Rupper was crazy enough with 7 or whatever.
He had him 7 as a centerman, though. Rupper wouldn't have him in the top 10 in the league. He'd have Makar and Quinn Hughes, I'm guessing, ahead of him, and maybe a goalie or two.
Yeah, I could see him there, but it's just – I think it's what you're expecting this year. not what they've done in the past. Like that's the biggest challenge I struggle with this list, is because you can go legacy, you can go all of that, but what are you expecting out of these players this year? If Jack Hughes is healthy, what is he? If Kaprizov is healthy, what is he? Like that type of stuff. And who comes out of the list? That's and who's we just talked about it. Sam Bennett, is he on the list? Or at 50 points, does that put you on the list in the regular season? I don't know. Like Zach Hyman the year before, it had 4 goals. Mm-hmm. Is he on the list this year?
Probably not, because he had a down year last year due to injury.
Right.
And he didn't play well. He didn't score a lot of goals based on his standards.
Right.
And he's not going to start the year healthy, likely.
Right. Yeah.
So, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And, again, Mike Rupp, he's entitled to his opinion. Like, we have Rupper on all the time. He's, great analyst.
Yeah.
But if he's got Matthews at 7, I would presume he'd have Kucherov ahead of him on the wing, maybe Pasternak. He'd definitely have McCarr, probably Hughes. Maybe he wouldn't have Matthews in the top 10. Which, again, it doesn't matter one guy's opinion. I'm just saying, if there's someone out there who's educated in the sport saying, this is where I see it, then I wouldn't be shocked if others, saw it in the same way, which, again, gets back to the original commentary that Matthews should have a chip on his shoulder and should be ready to go and shut a lot of people up because he's more than capable of doing that.
I look at a guy like Celebrini, he's going to be on my list.
I agree with that. Noodles,
have to.
The way he played last year.
I think he's a hell of a player. I think he's – but, is Connor Bedard turned the corner? Does he get to another level? Like, it sounds like, again, friend of a friend, knows him out there in Vancouver. He's had a really good summer.
He looks good, man.
Great shape, all of that type
best
of
shape
stuff.
of his life.
Best
fast.
Shape of his life.
What he does is he looks fast as
taller.
hell.
Right.
Taller. Smarter.
Well,
I don't know about that.
Everything. Nothing is worse.
At some point, does the light go on for Bedard?
It's going to at some point. He's too good. Yeah. He's too talented. It's going to happen. Yeah. All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Got a 3-game parlay for this weekend's NFL action. Broncos -2.5 at Danny Dimes and the Colts. This isn't the Dolphins anymore. All right, Danny Dimes comes back to life, back to reality quickly with Denver rolling in there. I like the Broncos laying 2.5. Cardinals win big at home against Carolina. And I'm on the Chiefs. Chiefs getting plus points. Yeah. Mahomes plus points. Back up against the wall. I don't care who they're playing. I'm on Kansas City. That parlay paying plus 600. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same-game parlays this NFL season now include passing touchdowns and receptions on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18 plus, physically located in Ontario. Dear Hazy B, next.
Sunday, Week 2 in the NFL continues as the Dallas Cowboys face off against the New York Giants. A Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and Chiefs. Plus, the Sunday nighter between the Atlanta Falcons and Minnesota Vikings. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
People send in a tweet. They write us for our professional advice on life things. Dear Hazy B, every morning my boiler has a gas leak. My wife thinks it's the baby.
Dear Hazy B.
If you want to come to Hazy B, I need honesty from you.
Hazy, you got dumped a lot. Tell me. Tell him.
Grown adults with birthdays, it's asinine.
All right, Dear Hazy B, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza.
Dear Hazy B, Ryder Cup next weekend, but my wife planned to go apple picking on Saturday and pumpkins on Sunday. She is adamant we can't do both on the same day. How do I deal with this?
It's that time of year, man. There's something about getting to a farm and picking fruit that is enticing to people. I can't understand it personally. I don't get it. I never have. I don't think I ever will.
It's about the kids. It's like
I know.
It's about the kids, or else it would be like a regular chore for one of the two adults on the weekend. Just
right.
Hey, go grab a pumpkin.
No, I know, and I get that.
But instead, it turns into an adventure, and you got to go along with it.
Then the play is find out when it opens, and be there when it opens. and say that's the big plan.
I totally agree with that.
If it opens at 10 a.m., we're knocking on the door at 9:59. And then no rush. Better not rush. Can't play. If you start rushing, then that's when it starts to get out of control. But go in for an hour and a half, 2 hours, pick your apple. Hey, there's a Royal Gala. Got to get over there. Hey, a Macintosh. I don't know. I don't get it, but it happens, and just be there right when the place opens. That's your priority.
So. That is the play. Get there right away. But you can have a little urgency. Like, you can move them along a little bit. Like, I like the phrase.
No, you guys. One thing you guys are urgency
go.
And getting there first thing. That reeks of you don't want to do it and you can't stand being
and you have to be careful with that message.
Yes,
you're right.
You got to be all in behaving.
That's
yourself.
what I'm saying.
It's close.
Honey Crisp. Yeah, let's go find them. Let's do it. Let's go down that row.
The person, the spouse everybody knows what your attitude is. So it's like, don't hide it. Just say, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm excited and all that. But like, hey, let's move this along too.
Okay.
Like,
Maybe you can find a balance, Noodles. Maybe you can.
One more quick one. My family informed me that a cousin is having a wedding on the same date as Mitch Marner's homecoming to Toronto in January. But all of my friends are planning to buy tickets to the game closer to the date. To add a fact into this, we don't see these cousins on a regular basis. What would you do to go about this?
That's a Friday night wedding. That's a tough one.
Don't love it. Don't love it.
I don't love it, but I don't know how you're getting out of that, man. I mean, weddings are tough because it's more about, if your parents, that's who you're going through. If you're pulling the – and also, if you're not going because you're going to watch Mitch Marner return – you're not going to hide that. That's going to be on your social accounts.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be blunt. Like, you pretty much have to be blunt. You got to go through your mom. You got to go through your parents and be like, this is what I'm thinking. Cousin Bob, I don't think I'm going to make it. And I'm pretty certain your answer back is going to be, you better be there. Like, I don't care how close you think you are. It's more about the parents and the, aunts and uncles. You're going to the wedding, unfortunately. You're not going to miss much. Mitch isn't going to say anything, do anything.
Depends on how close you are with that family, the family too, the cousins. Like, I don't know. There is an opportunity. There's a C plan here too. You go to Vegas the week before. I think the Leafs played them in Toronto at Vegas a week before.
You're right.
Talk to your buddies about doing a road trip there.
That's the veteran advice.
The first game is in Vegas that Toronto plays. They play a week or 10 days later back.
Be there for that one.
Not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
That's a great idea. Get to Vegas in January. It's still relatively warm. Pools won't be open or anything, but it's hockey season.
It's Vegas, and you're watching first game against his former team. That'll be his first game.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's right. That'll be big. When he rolls through town, listen, I'm intrigued. That'll be the game of the year. Like, there's no denying that. It's going to be a massive homecoming, but he's not going to talk the night before. I doubt he talks day of. I don't know what the Leafs are going to have planned for him. I am quite curious to see what they do there. But I don't know. Weddings only come around so often. Like, did you love Mitch, or are you going there to boo him? Like, what's your plan? That's
just something
thing.
On the agenda. All your buddies are going. It's one of those things.
It's a big game, and it's a Friday night. Friday nights pop. Like, that's going to be a party down there, man. Friday night with Mitch rolling back through town, it's going to be loud.
It's back-to-back, though, too, Brian. Don't they play in Montreal or something the night before?
Yeah.
So he's not even going to speak
Vegas does.
that.
Yeah, they're in Boston, I believe, the night before.
Yeah, Boston. So, you're not going to see Mitch speak the night before.
No, you're not. He's not going to say or do anything. Nothing.
Exactly.
Like, he might give a wave if they do their montage or whatever, which I'm sure he will.
He's getting a video for sure.
He'll get a video, but, and he'll speak after the game, but you're not going to hear that if you're hitting King Street or whatever afterwards.
Exactly.
So go to the wedding. Go to the wedding. And track what's going on with Mitch. All right, boys. There you go. Dear Hazy B. Good stuff. Here to help people, right? We're here helping people. That's the priority. We've got to do it. We have an obligation. All right, great stuff this week. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, podcast, web, radio, YouTube Live up on YouTube, TSN's YouTube channel. Track us everywhere. OverDrive everywhere. We're out of here. Enjoy your things. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.
Dear Hazy.